birds flying high. You know how I feel. Sun in the sky. You know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.
Well, good evening. Welcome, everybody. Man, I'm excited about this one. And I cannot wait to share this race with everyone. Hi, everybody. I'm Eddie Smith. Right Now Roofing, Xfinity Series here in the Goat Locker Racing League. Oh, we're starting out good tonight as we're getting ready for some road racing. Boy, it's been a fantastic season so far. We're just getting into it, and qualifying has just started. So guys are starting to put down their laps, but here we are at a road course just a couple weeks before the playoffs start. I want to thank our sponsor, Right Now Roofing, for their sponsorship of this series. It's been an incredible season so far, and glad to have them on board. We'll take a look at your point standings as we get this thing rolling. Here we are, down to just a few races left to go, and Jake Ellingson, Jake Denson, Trevor McManus on top the boards with those 2 wins apiece. They've really been the highlight of this season. Now, last week, Patrick Drabbit could have put himself in that conversation, but that disconnect with about 6 laps to go took him out of contention, and he actually dropped from 4th down to 7th. So Patrick needs a good run here tonight, and I expect to see him come out ready to roll in this race. It's going to get tight towards the end of this thing. You see the cut line, just 4 points separate Chance Taylor and the cut line, and Bobby Jermaine just 4 points back from that. So 8-point swing is all it would take for somebody to jump above someone else, get in those championship hunt. Last week, Mike D'Amico took the victory after Patrick had his issues. So he is not locked in. He has not made the races, required races, so he will not jump up above these folks. So everybody probably a little bit happy about that. Well, all right, well, let's go into some qualifying coverage, and let's see what everybody's doing as we hit the right button. On board with, let's see who we got on camera here tonight. We'll try to make sure we highlight some folks on the camera. I don't know. I just love doing that. We'll actually go with Trevor McManus here. So let's look and see what he's got going on. We'll take a look at the qualifying time. Just a couple folks have set times at the moment. Jamie Barkus currently on top of the standings as Trevor McManus now comes through on his first. No, I think he's coming to his first lap. So I like covering qualifying in the road courses because it's such a technical qualifying. They have 10 minutes to get 2 laps down, and that is a long time, almost a minute 15 seconds on these laps. And so we'll watch as Trevor McManus, no pressure, Trevor, if you're watching the broadcast, to hit a really good lap because unlike the oval side, whenever we have cautions, you really have to make sure that you get a good qualifying because we will not have cautions. If you wreck, if you have an issue, you'll try to just check up, make sure everybody gets through safe, but there's no full course cautions. And you need to be up at the front if you have a chance of winning this thing because these guys that are going to be up front going to be really strong. But you see up through the S's actually get a little bit of that green on the left side through the bus stop, shifts down, not as aggressive as I think he could probably be, but I think he's being safe. One big thing that these guys do is in practice to get real aggressive trying to hit those lap times, but in qualifying a single off track will be enough to negate your time. So you can't push the car as much as you will in the race or in practice. You have to be careful, and it looks like he's doing a really nice, solid lap. We'll see as across the line where he ends up. Right now, Patrick Dravitt, almost a second faster than his teammate Jamie Barkus so far. Trevor going to cross the line. We'll see where he ends up. And he'll be good enough for second at the moment. He jumps right up. He's going to go for another, I think. But I think that first lap is going to be the money lap, so he will probably call it quits after that one. I doubt he'll gain much out of it, but really awesome to see him jump up to the top like that. Brian Provo goes up to 7th place, so we'll go on board with right at the right time. Bobby Jermaine going through the bus stop, and more like a bus slide as he slides that Red Beard Design 42 machine through the bus stop. That will negate that lap, so he will have to go around one more time, and with less than 5 minutes to go, you can't make another mistake. See how wide he's going there? You can't do that in qualifying. And then going through the grass is also a big problem. So Bobby will have to really nail it down here on this next lap. Everybody else pretty much done. We see some guys still out on track getting a little practice in as everybody goes out. I'd love to at least one time have a qualifying where we go one at a time. That would add a lot of time to the broadcast, but it'd be a lot of fun. But watch here as Bobby Jermaine now has to be extremely careful. The times are all over the place. You've got a 1:13.1 that Dravitt put down, which is really, really fast. And you see Bobby just struggling through the S's, the rear grip. That's why I said one lap is really all you're going to get, especially when you slide the tires like he did. Just no rear grip. You see he's really fighting to get that throttle down, and you really need that speed going up through the S's and down into the bus stop. See if he does a better job this time. It's the outside curve, hits the inside curve, and likely, it's going to be close. A 0x is fine, but 1x, dropping that wheel off 2x could invalidate your lap time. So we'll see what Bobby can do here. Comes off, goes real wide. I don't think that'll give you I don't think that will do anything to hurt your time. We'll see. Really unsure on that entry. You can see he's just not sure how he wanted to get into that corner. The shifting kind of had the thing all upset. Coming off the corner, Barney bored as all get out. See, he ain't even looking. He's just staring off in the distance, rethinking his life choices. Bobby Jermaine crosses the line, and we'll see if that one counted. And it does. That's good enough for 12th place. So 1:15.631. You can see the difference. I mean, it is top is Patrick Dravitt with 113, and then you've got Doug Ellingson back here at 118s. You got a lot of 115s, 114s. So I don't think there's anybody else on track. Quite a few people choosing not to qualify. And I think what you'll see in these races is you'll see a lot of that. You'll see folks just trying to stay out of the first lap wreck if there is one. and try to just take care of that car, get to the finish. My whole deal is always just stay on the dang track, and that usually gets you a good finish because somebody's going to run off track. But these guys, you'll see some folks start in the back or start in the pits, which is definitely possible. Let's take a look at the track. You got Watkins Glen. We all know it. We love it, and we've been to it 1,000 times. And you see there that layout. So you've got a couple different layouts, but that pretty simple layout. It's just a few turns, 8 to be exact. Some say 7, but I think it's 8. But you see, you go to the right-hander into turn 1, up through the S is the most important part of the track here at a stock car, into the inner loop, and down through the carousel into 6. And then you'll go a little left-hander, little right-hander, and you're right back at the start-finish line. Simple as it gets, but boy, you'll see it's not as easy as it sounds. Well, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, we got just a little bit to go before we get gridded up. So let's jump into our national anthem. And Jared Ashley, a former or a Navy veteran. He's not former. He still is a veteran. He's going to take it away.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, thanks to Jared Ashley again for that rendition of our national anthem. Let's jump right into the grid. Let's see who's starting where. Patrick Rabbit on the front row. What a better way to make up for last week with the computer freezing up than to start on the pole and be faster than everybody by about 6/10. That's a good way to do it. Regis Clark going to start outside of the front row. Trevor McManus going to be inside of row number 2 with Jamie Barkus there in the 4th position. 5th going to be Charlie Harcum, and Jacob Ellingson rounds out your top 6. 7th going to be Levi McCarty with Brian Provo in the 8th spot. 9th going to be Scott Phelps with Jacob Denson in the 10th position. George Jewell in 11th, and Robert Jermaine in 12th. 13th going to be Daniel Blow with Matt Knights in 14th. 15th going to be Craig Bontrager. You know, I didn't get a PM last week, so I'm assuming I'm going to keep saying it like that. Doug Ellingson in 16th. 17th, Brendan Barrier with Chris Sawyer in 18th spot. 19th, Chance Taylor. And these guys did not put down times. Cameron Mason in 20th. 21st, Tyler Justice with John Anthony in 22nd. 23rd, Jeremiah Holt with Eric Martinez in the 24th spot. And then round out your field is going to be Jonathan Barker there in that number 44 Ford Mustang. Well, we've talked a little bit about it, and let's take a look at your cams we got here tonight. We got Jacob Ellingson there. We got Patrick Drabbit. You got Trevor McManus. You got Brandon Barrier down on the bottom left, and Jonathan Barker there on the bottom right. He hasn't shown his cams just yet, but He's looking good. Maybe we'll get him in just a few moments and get him on cam. Well, man, this is going to be a lot of fun, and it's good to see the folks from last week having a little bit better runs. Patrick, like I said, that'll be a conversation that we'll be talking about a lot here tonight. Is Patrick really trying to make sure that he has a good run here tonight and can kind of build on some momentum. If he can get the win, he's locked in. And I think the best thing he's got for him right now is Cody McElwain not here and Ryan Pendleton also not here. His teammates probably sitting on the sidelines knowing that Patrick really needs a win. And while I think that they would love to help him out, Patrick, while really good on road courses, those two that the aforementioned guys are insanely good. They're in another level. So the fact that they're not here tonight, I really think that gives Patrick Drabick all he needs to get this thing done. He's got plenty of speed. He knows how to get around here. He's fastest in practice. He's fastest in qualifying. Now he just got to put it all together, not let the pressure get to him, and get to the checkered flag. 40 laps here tonight in this race. Fixed setup, 100% fuel. 4 total tire sets. I think we'll just see the one stop if we if they have to come down pit road at 100% fuel. I would imagine just one pit stop, and that will be it. We won't see any other stops unless folks just want to come down for tires for no reason. So we'll see what the strategy, how that plays out. I'd love to see a couple stops at a place like this, but we're oval racers, so why make this any more complicated than it already is for some folks? It's hard enough. We got to turn right. The only right turns we do is off a pit road, out of our pit box. So we'll see how these guys handle it. Big field here tonight, 25 pace car getting ready to pull off, and we're gonna go racing here at Watkins Glen. Green flag is in his hand, and he's waving. Green flag is out. Turn 1 is the big one. Do they make it through turn 1 without any issues? This is what everybody's waiting on. You see just how easy everybody's going through that turn. So far, so good. No issues. And we're through it clear. As we watch Patrick Drabick through the S's with Regis Clark following close behind. He had Trevor McManus pushing him down into turn 1. Trevor going to go wide here in the S's. He completely misses it. And that's going to allow Charlie Harcum to get a nice run here down into the bus stop on board with Charlie right here. Trevor gets it back going. You can just see the momentum loss that you get whenever you miss those S's. Got to be careful down in this carousel. Be easy on it. Don't push the car too hard. And already we've got some issues. Brandon Barrier has some trouble. Oh, motor is blown in that machine. He does have a fast repair. He's got to get back to pit road, though. Brandon Barrier early with some issues. We'll see if maybe we can go back and see what happened to him. But you can see he has definitely made some contact with the wall. And he's limping around trying to get into pit road to fix that damage. You can see the car just not really responding, but still running. Yeah, somebody else is right in front of him. Jonathan Barker is sitting sideways in the pit road. My goodness. Jonathan Barker had some sort of issue. We'll see if we can go back and see. Yeah, just gets on it a little bit too much, spins out. Brandon Barrier is trying to get down pit road. The 44 is blocking the thing. So, already a tough early lap for everyone, but Patrick Drabick out to a 1.1 second lead as he puts that right now, roofing 0-7, trying to, not really a tone would be like he made a mistake, but really trying to make up for last week. Regis Clark trying to keep him honest. As we got a nice battle here. This is for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Charlie Harcum, Jacob Ellingson, and Brian Provo there in that black car right behind Jacob as they try to work their way through the field. Ellingson already up a spot. They're going to try to push forward here, try to get to Charlie. On board with Ellingson. to watch what it's like after a couple laps. You know, everybody goes out and practice, tries to run, you know, quite a few laps. But here at Watkins Glen, and these cars in particular, they're so heavy. They move around. They don't have the suspension that you would like to have, like the next gen or a GT car or anything like that. And so there's a lot of sliding around, but it's not really sliding around. It's just the car just doesn't respond. You have to be careful. It's got a lot of power. These corners are very difficult. You hear how he's barely getting on the throttle, staying in a lower gear, about 5,500 RPMs. And you can see even with that, still slides the rear tires off the corner, and that is exactly what you try to avoid, because small problems in the first couple laps become big, big problems when you get about 20 laps in. So, oh man, we got Jamie Barkas going down the running order here. Oh my gosh, a major wreck here. Jamie Barkas, this is a track stopper. I don't know if they'll throw the caution. The 36 also sitting there, and that is the 36 of George Jewell. So some big, big contact. Let's see if we can go back and find out what happened. You can see right there, as soon as we get to the replay, Jamie already a little bit loose. Oh my goodness, the 08 is sitting. That's Brian Provo was sitting in the middle of the track, and that's where all this started. Let's go back just a little bit. The 08 right behind Jacob Ellingson. He was in 6th position. You see that? And oh man, they both did it at the same time. And oh man, hard hit to the inside wall, and then Netco takes out the 15. 15 slides across the track. Is it's hard to keep them on there when they're all getting out of it. But watch on board with Jamie Barkas. He's going to come off, get loose himself, and then Provo is going to bounce across the track a couple times. Jamie doesn't really know where he's going to go, and unfortunately Jamie gets hit. Oh man, and that's a 79 of Scott Phelps is in there, and Bobby Germain. Oh, man, that was a massive hit. Let's go on board with Scott Phelps. He was currently getting passed here. He's not even seeing it. You can't even see what's going on until it's too late. He starts to check up, and then Jamie's going to roll back across the track, and when he does that, that is all she wrote. And then the 36 George Jewell comes in as well, I believe. So, whew, that was a lot to break down, but that was a massive wreck on that straightaway. I haven't seen one quite like that here at Watkins Glen in a long, long time. So a lot of drivers, a lot of good drivers taken out of this thing. They're going to get a fast repair. They do have one, but they have to tow if they couldn't make it back to pit road. So Jamie Barkas, George Jewell, Brian Provo, Bobby Germain, Scott Phelps, all those drivers involved in that big incident there on that backstretch. Already got a driver going a lap down. That's Cameron Mason. Cameron Mason hopped into this Discord and said, you know what, I'm going to start and park. I don't feel comfortable out there. I barely made a lap. But he's getting all the education he needs. He's going to run wide here, letting Regis Clark go through. But there is no better way to learn how to drive a road course and get out here on it and do it in race conditions. In practice conditions, you're just not putting the quite same kind of effort trying to keep the car on the track. You're trying to hit those fast times. But Cameron's he's doing the right thing. He's just moving over, letting folks go, trying to make sure people catch him at the right time. And he's going to let the folks go down into turn 1. But it's good to see folks trying to get out here and get it done, have a little bit of fun. That's why we show up every week. And we're not all pros, so. Go some battles on trap. Got Chance Taylor in the 14, right behind Craig Bontrager. Oh, no, and Chance Taylor's going to, gas it up just a little bit, trying to get a run on him through the S's. But, man, that one little bit you can see now is gone. So, Chance, I mean, a lot of guys having trouble with that on throttle time and trying to gas it up, and that is causing issues. Here we go, Levi McCarty down to the inside of Jacob Denson. One of the guys locked in the playoffs, Jacob Denson, is just trying to survive here tonight. Levi McCarty. Denson's up 3 spots. Levi is up 1 now after that pass. So Levi's starting to come alive here. But they are already, and this is just how impressive the skill difference is here at road courses. Levi McCarty is now 15 seconds behind your leader, Patrick Drabick. Watch right here. Everybody's starting to spread out. Now it's, oh, Cameron Mason's going to go around. Oh, right in front of Bobby Germain. Gets it wrapped back up as everybody's going to get away. Mason's going to come to a complete stop. Let everybody go, but he is able to get it back going. Does he not know that green is bad luck to put on a race car? Maybe that's the whole reason is you can't put that on a race car. Now, right in front of him, I'll tell you, this is a really cool-looking paint scheme. I like it. It pops. It definitely looks good from the front for sure. It looked like somebody took some paint and just threw it up against that car and said, hey, that's we're done. Looks like Cameron Mason has had some more issues. And now here comes Doug Ellingson has had an issue as well. And I will tell you right now, Doug Ellingson back here in the 14th position, up 2 spots. As he goes flying through the bus stop, somebody went off track there right in front of him. Let's go on board with Doug as he's trying to make it through this race here. You hear very nervous on the throttle, just trying to make sure he doesn't get loose. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to finish in the top 10 if you keep the car on the track at this point. There are going to be more and more folks that go off track. And if you can just keep it, even if you run well off the pace, if you just keep it on the track, that's all you got to do. And Doug going to miss the apex there, but still doing a great job. He's got John Anthony, that's the 00 right in front of him as they go by Cameron Mason. But Doug doing a fantastic job so far in that number 58 machine. He did go off track one time, but that's to be expected. If you ain't going off, you ain't trying hard enough. But the man of the hour right now is Patrick Dravick, who is, I mean, he's Sunday driving at the moment. He's got a 3.2 second lead. I mean, it's going to get boring quickly, folks. So we're going to try to find the, oh my goodness, he's going to get loose. Woo! I mean, I don't know what it is, but every time I put the driver on cam, they have some sort of issue. So Patrick gets a little bit loose there. Going to lose about a second there after that slide. Now he's going to have to be careful. The tough thing to do with these cars in particular on road courses is once you slide the rear tires, it's going to be very uneasy. You got to give it a couple laps to cool those off. If you push it a little bit too hard, he's going to give up some time to Regis, but he knows what he's doing. He knows he's just got to calm down. That you push that limit. It tried to get you. You were able to hang on to it, and now kind of push yourself forward. And so I think we'll see a little bit more conservation out of Patrick the next couple laps. And then once he can get that, he was probably nervous as all get out after that happened. The heart kind of started beating real fast, adrenaline shot through your veins, and need a couple laps to calm down. But just 2.2 seconds now to Regis. Turns down into turn number 1. This time, it takes it real easy through there. So Regis about a second faster after that slide. That was a really good lap for Regis, and that's just one of those things. You got to wait and see how everything plays out. Through the bus stop they go. Regis Clark tried to hunt him down. Trevor McManus as well. They're still running in the 14s and 15s. Regis last lap ran a 1:14. Patrick, without the slide, probably would have run one as well. So he is. Those two are still in the 1:14s. Trevor McManus, only driver in the 1:15s. And then it starts to drop off pretty quick with Jacob Ellingson in the 1:16s, as well as Harcum, McCarty, and Jacob Denson. So looks like Levi McCarty has gone off track at least one time. Now that off track doesn't mean that they drove through the grass, maybe just dropped a couple tires off the track. There's Chance Taylor. He's slow, so is looks like Brian Provo. We're gonna keep it here. This is gonna be the closest battle on the track. As you got Jacob Denson right behind Levi McCarty as they go down the front stretch here into turn number 1. Denson on board with Denson here as he's trying to track down the 6th place. Hear him shift down just to give those tires a little bit more security. Once you get back on the throttle, you really got to stay in the throttle here. You can't push. You got to push it as hard as you can. There's a lot of time to be had in the S's, but there's a lot of time to be lost if you overcook those rears. So taking care of it by shifting down those lower RPMs, just less chance, less torque to the rear wheels, less chance for the tires to break loose and get loose like we saw with Patrick Drabbit. So running a lower gear is a way to kind of help. It's not going to be as fast, but it is definitely a lot safer. So I would imagine a lot of folks are employing that kind of strategy. Now the drivers behind here, I believe that is George Jewell in the 36, along with Jamie Barkus. They've got fresh cars. They are 1 lap down, all of them, as Jewell goes around Denson on the outside. They just came out of pit road not too long ago after that massive pileup on the backstretch. So they are currently racing for what is 17th and 18th at the moment, both 1 lap down. Without the chance of a caution, there's really no chance that these guys get back on the lead lap. But regardless, you got to stay in it. You got to push as hard as you can. I mean, we already know that that George is right there on that cut line, so that wreck was actually pretty detrimental. So he's got to stay in it. And if enough folks you kind of fall out of this race, he has an opportunity to keep it from being too bad as we get just a couple races left to the playoffs. Battle here between Craig and Daniel. And Craig going to pass. Looks like passing Daniel. They were really going slow there, taking it easy, trying not to make contact with each other. But move Craig. He's up 7 spots from where he started. Pretty impressive drive from him. Daniel blow up 4. And then the biggest mover at the moment is Eric Martinez, who is running very quick lap times. He's faster than everybody in the top 10 except for the top 5. So he is definitely fast enough to run these guys down if he can keep this pace up. But Eric Martinez, having some good success here at Watkins Glen. Started in 24th, wondering if he wishes maybe he had kind of started a little bit closer to the front, might be a little bit more competitive. 44 seconds off of the lead as Patrick Drabbit continues in the 14s as Cameron Mason has had another incident. We won't show it every time. I don't want to embarrass somebody who is just trying. So I'm not going to show every time somebody runs off the track, but I will mention it just in case there are some friends and family in here. Now, George Jewell now going to get passed up. This is a battle for position as Jamie Barkus, he pulls down to the inside, or to the right, I guess, and going to let Barkus through. Now Barkus is up to the 16th position. And we were talking about points, so we'll kind of highlight that real quick. That's the schedule. Points right here, and you can see there at the cut line, Bobby Germain, who was involved in that incident early, 4 points below the cut line. And Chris Sawyer, who was 7 points above the cut line, is already out of this thing. And I think some of these drivers were mainly just, hey, I'm out of this. You know, I'm not doing no road course, and I'm going to come here to get my points and just deal with it. But you see Jamie Barkus there, 28 above the cut line. He's got to fight for every point that he can get. That all matters as we get down to the end of this thing. Drop weeks are still into effect. Most people are going to be pretty close to what their points will end up being at this point. But you know, this may be a few people's drop week. We'll have to see. But you can see George Jewell there, 17 above the cut line before we took the green flag. And now, you know, that's going to be in question as he is back in 17th position. So a lot of opportunity for some folks to make up some points. I think that'll be interesting to see how that plays out after tonight. 15 laps in this thing. Patrick Drabick back out to a 4-second lead over Regis Clark, who is in second. Third place is Trevor McManus with Jacob Ellingson there in fourth spot. Charlie Harcum rounds out your top 5. I'll tell you what, let's do something here. I'm gonna pick somebody outside the top 15, and I'm not. This is not picking on anybody, but I just want to show the difference in lap times. And this is not, like I said, this is not to pick on anybody, any particular. But we're gonna go on board with John Anthony, who is in 13th position. Let's watch his lap time. He's currently running about 4 seconds slower than the leader. And we'll look at the difference, and I'm only highlighting the difference between somebody that really likes road courses and I think does really well at them, and then some folks that, hey, I'm just here trying to have fun, stay on the track, and just show the skill level difference at these road courses. Now, John is doing a great job. He is definitely taking it easy. He's got somebody coming up behind him. We'll see if he moves over. I think that's Trevor McManus. Trevor actually was going to go to the inside, but John does the right thing, moves over to the right. That's what lets McManus go. And you can see how much difference, even the braking into the bus stop, John really taking it easy. And like I said, not picking on John, but just showing what somebody who's staying on the track. He's up 8 spots. He's done a great job so far. This is what it takes when you feel like you're not too comfortable at road courses. I'm going to get out there, though, and I'm going to finish this thing. You can just see taking it easy, driving into the corner. Misses the apex of that one. Going to slide up just a little bit, but you could hear very low RPMs. But comes across, makes a pretty clean lap. No off tracks. That's about what you want to see right there. Now let's go forward with Patrick Drabick. He's going to have a lap car. That's Matt Knights there in the 64 right in front of him. And you can hear the RPM's a little bit higher as he goes through the bus stop, and you can see how much he's going to close here on Matt. He's going to hope that Matt gives him the entry into the bus stop, and Matt does. What a great job by Matt Knights. Very aggressive on shifts, going to cut right. You see how much he cuts, almost hits the wall on entry. Puts the tires over the rumble strips, right down to the bottom. Got to let this roll. It's an off-camber type corner. You got to be careful. We've already seen an accident happen here. Lots of shifting and moving around, but you can see just how fast he is moving, getting all he can right down to those rumble strips. Just being a little bit more aggressive on throttle and RPMs, and that's the difference between 115s and 119. So about 4 seconds different. Doesn't look that different, does it? It doesn't take much to be fast at a place like this. You just do it. You got 8 turns to be just a little bit faster. All right, Patrick is out to a 5.3 second lead over Regis Clark, who had a great run so far. Just struggling to keep up with Regis at the moment. Trevor McManus has been kind of hanging on. These two have been, these guys are teammates, so no surprise they are running very similar lap times. Trevor been trying to hang on to his teammate, stay in that podium position. But Regis would like to have a good race. I think the last couple races I don't think have been really great for him. So this is a great opportunity to get out front, have a second place finish if he can finish there, or at least a podium. I mean, right now he's about 5 seconds ahead of fourth place Jacob Ellingson. So unless he gets has some trouble or gets a run in with somebody, he's got a pretty good situation at the moment. Pass here as Craig Bontrager, I don't know. I lose all confidence when I say the name. He's gonna go a little bit wide in the bus stop, but he goes around Eric Martinez, who had kind of held on to that 8th place, up 13 spots, but Craig going to be able to take that pass and move forward inside the top 10. I know these guys would love to have a caution and get caught back up and try to get closer to the leader. These guys 54 seconds back of Patrick Drabick. So, Patrick is putting on a clinic. That whole top 5 is really putting some work in. Somebody has stopped there. That's Cameron Mason going through the gravel trap right here, really struggling, but able to stay out of everybody's way. No contact was made, so that's good as here comes Patrick Drabick. Now, pit stop's something that we'll be thinking about. I expect to see them come in right now or the next lap or so, cut it right in the middle, and here he comes. Patrick Drabick comes down pit road. Man, what a great pit road camera those were. So Patrick gives up the lead. He will go down pit road, get 4 fresh tires, and get back out there with fuel enough to make it to the end. So it's a one-stop race. And really, honestly, at this moment, you just want to come down pit road. You want to get that one. You want to go around, get the tires up to speed, and get 1 or 2 good laps and start backing it down to your race pace and try to get her to the finish. Now, the important thing with fresh tires, when you come out of pit road, that car is going to handle way different than it did before, and it can surprise you. So you have to be prepared as you're running on old tires, things sliding all over the place. The car is going to react a little bit different, so you have to kind of pay attention to that and make sure that you don't overcook it, especially until the tires come up to heat. Those cold tires can be a little bit, you kind of get some false advertising. You think you got some traction coming off the corner, all of a sudden those cold tires break loose, and boom, the race is over. So Patrick going to take it easy. He's got plenty of time. He's going to have the advantage of the new tires over Regis Clark, so he just has to make sure that he stays out of trouble. But expect to see everybody come down pit road in the next lap or so. Eric Martinez has come down to make his stop in the number 19 machine. Really, really impressed with this number 19 Toyota Supra. Is up. He was up 14 spots at one point, lost a spot there towards the end, but now going to get fresh tires on it, go back out there and try to hunt some folks down and to get down, try to maybe get inside the top 5. I think it's going to be tough, but I think at his pace he could probably do it. Going to come out of pit road, got to stay inside that yellow line. But up front, we might have a battle for the lead before they come down pit road, as McManus has been able to run. Regis Clark had a really bad lap last time by. Really let Trevor catch back up as these tires start to go away. But I would expect to see both these drivers come down pit road this time. On board with Trevor. And unfortunately, there's not too much strategy to employ here. So there's no strategy call. The only thing that you're really giving up with these two drivers right here is pace to the leader. And Patrick is already, he's passing Levi McCarty right now. That's for 3rd place. So he is about 24 seconds back from the leaders at the moment. And we'll see as he crosses the line, but I would expect he's probably 3.5 seconds faster than the 2 leaders at the moment. We'll see as he crosses the line. Last lap, Regis Clark ran a 1:16.2 and Patrick Drabick 1:14.3. So 2 seconds faster that lap. So the longer they stay out, the more he's going to continue to pull away as this run goes on. Road course racing is a lot different. Thank y'all for sticking with us. A lot of battles going on all over the place, and with a lot of these folks not being super comfortable with road course racing, you're not going to see a whole lot of hard race until maybe the end, as it's sort of a collective, hey, let's just get to the end of this thing. I'm a little nervous, and you kind of feel that here in this race. Everybody being really, really respectful. I love to see some hard racing, as here comes Regis Clark down pit road to make his stop. But I love to see good hard racing. I love to see, I mean, we've seen some incredible battles like, I think it was Brad Keselowski and, oh man, I can't remember his name, but the fellow from Australia, I don't know why. I could say his name 1,000 times except for right now. Marcus Ambrose. I had an incredible race at the Glen, so you could definitely race side by side and have some awesome racing. But only if you're comfortable, and you have to put a lot of trust in the guy that you're racing with, that you guys are going to make it through these turns side by side. I tell you, if you're not comfortable going through the bus stop with another driver is very, very scary. Regis Clark going to come out of pit road right in front of Jacob Ellingson. Jacob has made his stop. And Regis now with 3-lap fresher tires should be able to pull away from them once those tires come up to heat. Let's go on board with Jacob as he tries to maybe do something here. Cody in the chat saying, go Craig. Man, I'm telling you, I would like go Craig indeed. But if you would, type in chat, let me know how to say that last name, how to say y'all's last name to make sure I'm getting it right. If you'll sound it out, do a little phonetic typing so I know exactly how it's said so I'm not butchering it up here. I say it about 2 or 3 different times, different ways to try to see if it's right or wrong. So let me know how it's actually said as you watch Jake. And you see all kinds of different setups. We've seen some guys like Patrick who looks like they're using, he was using paddle shifters, where Jacob here is using a shifter like they have in NASCAR, sort of. Sequential, but you just kind of push forward to shift down, pull back to shift up. All kinds of different setups. And it just depends on what you're comfortable with. You're going to go by the 79 machine. That's Scott Phelps. So Jacob, you know, Regis staying out a little bit. He will have better tires, you know, for longer. But you can see how close Jacob was able to get to Regis to see if he can close it in. I think Regis in the next lap or so is going to be pretty lights out as his tires have come up to temps. And you can kind of start to see him fade into the distance. Right now, McManus stays out on track. He's been on track. Him and Levi McCarty been on track for 25 laps now, and that where it was a 25-second gap between Patrick Drabick and Trevor McManus is now a 19-second gap. So Patrick continues to push around. Looks like we may see Trevor come down pit road right here this time, but you know what this does allow for Trevor, he's comfortable with what he's running. He's running the 115s. I mean, that's really impressive for the end of the run. So it's not like he's going to gain too much. He can keep the tires as long. If he can run 115s on these older tires, that's a pretty good pace. When he does decide to come down pit road, those tires will be cold. He'll have to get them up to temps, take a couple laps. But if he stays out pretty long, then he will have more opportunities to race, you know, drive a little bit harder towards the end of this thing. But by the time he comes out, he'll have a long way to go to even think about getting back to Patrick Drabick. And I think at this point, he's just racing his teammate. He wants to come down, get fresh tires, and have an opportunity to run maybe Regis Clark down. But right now, I mean, he is going to be third, maybe fourth once all this cycles around. Patrick has had such a big enough lead, he was able to come down pit road, and he's able to regain second. So that's really impressive how good the 07 is tonight. What we're going to hope for is that that Patrick's computer stays together tonight, because we do not want another situation like last week at all. You know, as much as these competitors like to get wins and like to have good finishes, and a lot of times the people you're racing against, you do want them to do bad every once in a while because that helps you out. I don't think anybody was happy to see Patrick lose that win for a computer issue. So it was really, really disappointed to see that happen last week. He had it in the bag. He was by far and away the best driver all night long, and tonight going to be the same thing. Still waiting on Trevor McManus to come down pit road. Levi McCarty as well in third. Those two have yet to come down pit road, so your top three is going to be Patrick Rabbit, Regis Clark, and Jacob Ellingson at the moment. And we'll see when these guys decide to come down pit road. But right now, Patrick Rabbit about a second a lap faster than Trevor. But I think at this point, Trevor maybe has waited a little bit too long. But we'll see what his strategy really is here. Looks like Alec Martinez is coming back down pit road. So a guy that's had a really good race now coming back down pit road to get some tires again. I don't know if he made some contact or what. But Eric Martinez coming back down pit road to take some tires. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I understand. I'm looking down the list. I don't see any off tracks or anything like that. So I'm not real sure why he decided to do that. But comes back in for another stop. As we look right here, we got a battle for position. Now McCarty still hasn't come down pit road. He's going to let the 8 of Regis Clark through. But that is a battle for the third position. So Regis Clark going to take over that spot. As we start to wind down this race, just 12 laps to go, and we're still waiting on McManus to make that final stop. Okay, so it looks like it is Craig Bontrager. I don't know if I said it that way. I may have. But thank you so much, Cody, for letting me know, as that is very helpful so I can make sure that I say these names correctly. That's important to me. As oh my goodness, I don't know who that is, a 17 of Daniel Blow sitting on the track. He's gonna call it. He's gonna tow back to pit lane. I don't know why he would do that. Let's go see. Maybe we can see what happened to him. This is on the replay. See the Oregon Duck Chevrolet going down into turn 1. I wonder if he just cooks it. Oh, yeah, you can tell he's already sliding. He's going to slide. Oh, right in front of a couple folks. That was Jamie Barkus. I don't know why he towed, though. He was in a great position. Oh, he doesn't tow. Okay. I think my ATVO just freaked out. So he did not tow. He's still on track. As he tries to run back down Scott Felt. So Daniel was having a great run, still is. He's on the cusp of a top 10. But scary moment for the 17. That's how quickly it can happen here. But up front still, Trevor McManus. Still laying down some very fast lap times as the fuel level in the car is starting to negate the grip level that he has in his tires. As the fuel level gets lower and lower, you're able to pick up a lot of speed. Car's not as heavy, lighter, means you can turn better. And so he's running low 115s at the moment. Still about a second slower than Patrick, but I think he was a second slower than Patrick anyway. So I think it's not too unordinary. Brendan Barrier said in the chat he's 35, 53. I mean, is retired from the Xfinity racing. Driver is awful, and yes, I'm talking about myself. Well, you know what? Nobody ever got better at anything by quitting. I can tell you that, Brandon. So stick with it, brother. You're never gonna be good at it if you don't try, if you don't get in here and race. And that's why we have leagues. That's why we have environments like Goat Locker, where you come in here and you're not going to get nobody. You shouldn't feel embarrassed because nobody is laughing at you or making fun of you or anything like that. That's the beauty of these leagues, is we're all in here learning. Everybody in here is trying to be better, and that's the whole point. So stick with it. Don't give up. I've seen some guys. I've raced with some guys that I couldn't believe. Is Levi McCarty comes down pit road. He's going to make his stop, 4 tires and fuel for that Toyota Supra. But I've raced with some guys. I've been on iRacing since 2009, and I've seen some guys who were just awful. I mean, they were just terrible. Could not get around the track, would wreck others, couldn't get the wheels under them. I mean, they were basically out there riding a unicycle pretty much every race. And one of those drivers is racing in the NASCAR Coca-Cola Series. So, man, I'm going to tell you, got to stick with it. Some of these drivers were I tell you what, I'd use Jacob Ellingson. I don't think he minds because I've said it multiple times. But Jacob Ellingson, one of those drivers, Trevor gets a little bit nervous there. But Trevor, Jacob was one of those drivers. He was all over the place. He was always fast, could lay down some fast lap times, but really struggled to put a race together. And over the last year and a half has really, really improved. And now he is a threat to win almost every single race. So you got to stick with it. It's going to click one of these days, but you can't quit. You quit, you'll never get it. Still waiting on Trevor. Trevor going as long as he possibly can. I would imagine that they're going to have to make a pit stop. I can't imagine fuel being enough to make it. But what a wild conversation that would be if you could make it on fuel. And here we go. As soon as I start talking about it, Trevor going to come down. We'll see what he does if he takes fuel only. Now, a lot of folks have taken 4 tires, but I'm going to tell you, I have seen fuel only be the way to go. Get enough fuel to make it to the end of this thing. Only 9 laps. He's running low 15s, which Patrick is starting to fall off to right now. So I wonder if Trevor's pretty smart now. I wonder if he knows that he could come down, maybe take just enough fuel to make it to the end, have a little bit quicker pit stop, and maybe beat his teammate to the end of this thing. I don't see any tires going on that machine. That's exactly what he's doing. Now, Regis Clark will get around him, but I think he just waited too long to make that call. I think Regis and, oh my goodness, Regis Clark spins out going into turn 1, and Regis Clark, who we're just talking about, is now going to lose 3rd and 4th. He was going to have 2nd if he stayed on the track, but goes around. And, boy, that's a big development there for that number 8 machine. Let's go back and see what happened. As he is going around, I can't see who that was. Just taking a different. Oh, somebody made contact with him. I think he was expecting the 49 just to give him the inside line, and the 49 hits the curb and goes up, and Craig going to get Regis Clark in the rear end, and he is going to lose a bunch of spots due to that. Now back in 4th place, so Jacob going to take over that spot. Now it's between Jacob Ellingson and Trevor McManus. Trevor going to have that 2nd place with that fuel-only stop. Now, he won't have as good of tires, but I'm just surprised that Trevor waited as long as he did. Now, he didn't have to make as long a pit stop. So maybe that's a decision there. If he comes in early, he's going to have to take almost 2 cans of fuel likely to make it to the end of this thing. And old Patrick Rabick had an off track. May have just dropped a couple wheels off. But, yeah, I mean, if he comes down early, he's still got to wait on the fuel. This way he didn't have to take as much fuel, so the pit stop was very, very quick. Just enough fuel to make it to the end of this thing. So far, so good. Able to get 2nd, Regis, with that contact. Craig Bontrager now puts Jacob Ellingson in the 3rd place position. But, man, can't say enough about this 07 car. You know, I honestly, there's just so many good road course ringers out there. When you think of these tracks, you think of a driver like Michael Kostick, who runs in the Friday night series, the truck series. And you think about Ryan Pendleton, who really kicked everybody's butts, even Michael Kostick in the truck series a few weeks back. And then you think about Cody McElwain, who is just unbelievable. I mean, he is by far one of the best road course racers I've ever seen. We don't get to see Cody around that often. And so, you know, with those guys not, and I think Patrick would say, I'm pretty good, but I'm nowhere near as good as those guys. But when those guys are not here, you got to take advantage of it, and you got to put it all together. And Patrick definitely has done that tonight. I'm not sure if he'd call himself a road course racer, but he sure does look like one tonight. 13-second lead over Trevor McManus now with just 6 laps to go. I mean, he can just put it in cruise control. He just hit the main, hit the set on about, I don't know, 50 miles an hour and just kind of cruise around here and get this thing done. So right now roofing is Jonathan Barker is going to get up out of the way of the 07, let him on by. But just out for a Sunday drive at the moment. Battle for position back here, Levi McCarty, who just pitted 4 laps ago. Now, he does have fresh tires, so he was able to drive by Denson without much issue. Going to set about 5/10. Denson going to fire back here into the bus stop, try to stay with him, but I think those fresh tires are going to be a little bit tough to stick with. We'll see what Denson can do. Denson's got 14 laps on his tires, so not just terrible. But Levi has been really on the... Oh, you see Denson on board with him now. Gets a little bit loose there. Trying to keep up with him. But everybody pretty much spread out at the moment. And Patrick has lapped all the way up to the 7th position. Craig Bontrager is the first car lap down. He is in 8th spot. So go back here. Daniel Blow, who we saw sitting sideways at some point, is going to give way to Brian Provo, who was involved in that first lap accident. Man, I'll tell you what a great recovery out of Brian, who he was the one that where all that started. We saw him just blast. He was running about the 4th position, just knocked down the wall a couple times, just massive hit, and then contact with Jamie Barkus with some net code there. I mean, they could have put a whole like 2 or 3 basketballs in between them, and kind of started that incident on the first lap. And Brian with a great recovery as he has cracked the top 10 here. As Daniel going to get a little bit loose behind him, able to hang on to it. But Provo doing a fantastic job of getting his car back into the hunt. About 6 seconds back from Jamie Barkus if he's going to run him down. But that's what you got to do. Barkus also another one of those drivers who he has yet to come down pit road. So interesting. He came down and pitted. And I think Jamie may be employing the same strategy that Trevor did. Jamie came down 32 laps ago with that fast repair. So he'll be a lap behind. So he actually has to make it 1 lap less on fuel than anybody else. So we'll see if he can make it all the way. If at the very least, if he hasn't been saving fuel, he'll have to come down, take just a splash, get back out there. Won't lose a ton of time. He will lose a couple spots, but some strategy here towards the end of this thing to try to make a bad race into a semi-decent one. Jamie started 4th, was having a pretty dang good run, and he just can't afford to have a bad one the next couple races if he can't get that win. And so we'll see. We'll see where this stacked. If he can make it all the way, I mean, that's a dang good finish for Jamie to come back and finish in the 9th spot. So if he can actually make it to the end of this thing, I will be really, really impressed on that strategy call to try to make it. He's 33 laps now. That's about when Trevor McManus came down pit road. Everybody pretty much, like I said, spread out. Whoa, somebody's going wide. They don't know who that is. Trying to find out who it might be. Doug Ellingson on pit road at the moment. Here comes Jamie. Going to come down pit road, so he definitely couldn't make it to the end. Going to come down and just take a splash of fuel. No tires necessary. Take that splash of fuel, come back out. He should cycle in around in the 11th position. Bobby Jermaine will be right behind him, but I think Bobby's going to be in the same situation that he is. So we'll see if Jermaine comes down this time. That'll give George Jewell. Bobby Jermaine going to stay out. We'll see how he cycles around as Jamie is still on pit road. So Bobby will take over that spot. But I believe if Jamie has to come down pit road, then Bobby definitely does. So we'll see if he's able to do it. As here comes Barkus off of pit road right now as Jewell trying to run all three of these guys. This is fourth position. As George Jewell actually blinks out there. Uh-oh. There he comes back. Okay, scary moment. But all eyes go back to Patrick Drabick, who is now lapped up to the 6th position. Levi McCarty is about 1 minute 7 seconds. That's about 7 seconds off of ahead of Patrick Drabick here, trying to stay on the lead lap. As Patrick, you see how aggressive he's still being. He's got this thing led by about 14 seconds, and he's dropping the fronts off into the grass. He's not taking any chances here. Last couple of corners. And white flag is out here for Patrick Drabick. One more lap to go. Just a little over 1 minute till he comes away with the victory, and he is going to for sure lock himself into the playoffs here in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. Just has to make it one more lap up through the S's. And that's a bounce back, I'll tell you that right now. That's what you have to do. You can't get down. You can't get upset at yourself. You can't just get so frustrated you give up. Last week it was a dominant car. Had the field just completely waxed. I mean, he was running second right behind, I believe, Trevor McManus for a while, just being patient, letting it come to him. Finally gets out ahead and never really looked back. And with just 2 or 3 laps to go, his computer locked up and he lost the car and the race. But this time, not going to happen. No problem out of the 07. The Right Now Roofing Chevy Camaro is going to cross the line, and Patrick Drabick, checkered flag, as he is going to win here at Watkins Glen. 15-second lead over Trevor McManus, and Patrick Drabick takes home the victory. And you can tell he is I don't know if he's relieved. We'll talk to him. I don't know if he's relieved or if he's like, I knew that was going to happen. Trevor McManus takes over second spot as Jake Ellingson was super close there at the end. Regis Clark, after that contact with the 49, he will come home in 4th. And your top 5, here comes Charlie Harcum off of the corner, and he will take the checker flag. And that will round out your top 5. Well, pretty great race. There was a lot of things that were going on. But, I mean, in terms of point standings and points, and these are old point standings, so we've talked about it already. You know, they're at the cut line. Chance Taylor, 17th finish here, 17th place finish tonight. Bobby Jermaine, though, this is where he'll be kind of put under pressure. Chance Taylor is Bobby Jermaine after that wreck, who was 4 points below the cut line. He comes home in 11th. He was able to make it all the way on that fuel. And what an incredible job by him. So a lot of points going to be shaken up here in this race. This is Patrick just doing burnouts on on turn number 6. I was waiting for him to come around the front stretch, but he decided he was too excited. He's going to do it right here. But, yeah, some really good recoveries for some folks as Jamie Barkus there, plus 28 over the cut line, coming home in 12th after that contact. What a great recovery for him. George Jewell as well, 13th place finish. You got to finish around where the guys that you're racing with are. And all those drivers were able to kind of keep that going. Chris Sawyer, I think, is going to be the one that is going to need some help in the next couple of weeks. But Patrick Dravick burning it down on the front stretch. As somebody, I think his teammate out there burning them down. That's the best thing about teammates. When you win, you get when your teammate wins, you get out there and do burnouts too. So that's what they're doing. Is Patrick burns them down all over the front stretch. Celebrate this one after a tough week. Been thinking about it all week. Able to come back and get a win in a dominant way. And the motor's blown in that 07 right now roofing. See that black smoke coming out of the back of that machine. What a great race. Well, we'll get to the interviews in just a moment. But let's see where everybody finished here tonight. We'll bring up your results. And no cautions tonight. That was good. As Patrick Dravick takes the win here at Watkins Glen with Trevor McManus. A great job finishing in second place. Jacob Ellingson is, after that spin, and Regis Clark going to be able to sneak in there with a podium finish. Regis Clark comes home in fourth. Charlie Harcum in fifth. Levi McCarty in sixth position with Jacob Denson in seventh. Craig Bontrager comes home in eighth. Brian Provo in ninth. Daniel Blow in 10th position. 11th going to be Bobby Germain with Jamie Barkis in 12th. George Jewell in 13th. Scott Phelps in 14th. Scott Phelps was involved in that first incident as well, although he has a pretty big point advantage after last week. So he was going to be in good shape. 14th, still a really good point managing position for him. Matt Knight's going to come home in 15th. John Anthony in 16th. Chance Taylor, 17th. Eric Martinez in 18th. And it looks like Eric may have had to come down pit road that next time because he had a speeding penalty. Chance Taylor, Eric Martinez, and Jonathan Barker all look to have had speeding penalties, so that's why maybe they had to come back down. I'm not sure. Doug Ellingson rounds out your top 20. 21st is going to be Brandon Barrier. 22nd, Cameron Mason. Chris Sawyer in 23rd. Tyler Justice in 24th. And Jeremiah Holt, 25th, although he will not get points as he did not turn a lap. Well, we always got to get the interviews in, and we got to talk to the dang driver of the day, and that's Patrick Dravick. We'll talk to our winner. We'll get him in here real quick and see what he thought. And Patrick Dravick, the winner here tonight, is he able to take home the victory after last week? Pat, man, wow. What a way to come back. You know, you dominated last week. You had the computer issues, and you know, you can do one or two things. You can get down, you can get upset, you can get in your head, or you can come back with a vengeance and do it again. You know, just say, well, hey, you know, I gave him one. That was the mulligan. I let you have it. Now we're going to go to Watkins Glen. I'm going to kick all you butts. Now, how much did you pay for Cody McElwain and Ryan Pendleton to not show up tonight?
Hey, man, we're not going to discuss those things on the air. You know, team orders are team orders.
We'll talk a little bit about that. I mean, what was your mindset after last week? We didn't talk to you, obviously, but when that happened last week, what were your thoughts? I mean, you know, you were right there. You were feeling good in the points. You didn't have that win just yet, but when that happened, you lost a ton of points. You dropped back pretty, you know, down the order as we're getting ready for playoffs. You know, what was your thought process after that race last week going into this one? Kind of what was your mindset?
I mean, last week was a heartbreaker for sure. I mean, equipment failures happen, things happen, you know, all those types of things, and just had a glitch here and had an equipment failure, and kind of, you know, gave up the win there. I definitely had that one circled on the schedule as a place I thought I could definitely win, and definitely had a dominant car. So, but really, Eddie, it didn't carry over into today. I wasn't thinking about losing last week or what happened last week. I was just put my head down and focused on the task at hand, which was the road course here at Watkins Glen, man. And I'm not gonna lie, it felt good to put a butt whooping on them for sure.
I mean, it's just, it's good to have good side by side racing and just, laying the door on somebody and coming across the line, like in Atlanta. For the fans, I think that's the best type of racing. But for a driver, there's no better feeling than showing up at the racetrack and beating your next competitor second place by 17 seconds. I mean, that's a really, really good feeling. And it's a big confidence booster. I mean, that tells you that whatever you're doing on road courses is working. I think you've always been pretty good at road courses, definitely a top 5 driver anytime we go. But to whip them by 17 seconds, were you quite sure that you would do that? Or were you that confident, or were you a little bit surprised by how far out you were by the midpoint?
I was kind of surprised by that. I was really surprised after qualifying because I think I took the pole by almost 8/10 of a second, and um, I knew the car was fast. I have put a ton of time and effort into road racing. I've had some great finishes this season already. I think I had a second place in the trucks and a third place in the next gen. So I guess this is the trifecta. I've done 1, 2, 3 at Watkins Glen this season. But I put in a lot of work. I was very confident coming in here, but I didn't know that old Right Now Roofing '07 was going to be that bad fast.
Yeah, well, now you get to think about the playoffs. Charlotte's just a speed bump in what you've got planned for this round of the playoffs. You kind of move that focus maybe towards Bristol and Michigan as you move into that next round. Um, you know, Right Now Roofing on the car, you would love to win the championship. The competition is tough this year in the Tuesday series for sure. And all the series have been really competitive, but in the Tuesday, I mean, 2 wins apiece for those top 2 or top 3, and now you add one to join them. It's going to be a tough playoff, but it should be fun to watch you guys deal with all these tracks. And I think I'm getting a word now from Race Control that all 4 of the playoff tracks have been changed to road courses after tonight. So no, yeah, man, just a great run by you. Looking forward to seeing what you do in the playoffs. I think this kind of gives you that just kind of relief of like, man, I hadn't been able to get a win. You got it. Now you can look forward to trying to get that championship. So, man, congratulations on such a great race. That was a lot of fun to watch you kind of whip their butts. And man, the floor is yours. Who you got to thank?
Well, obviously, Right Now Roofing, we finally got them into victory lane, so I could not be more happy about that. They have been an incredible sponsor, not only sponsoring here on Tuesday nights, but they were the ones that sponsored the sim rig that we were able to give to a veteran. Right Now Roofing has just been an incredible partner, and I know both me and Jamie are very proud to carry their colors on the side of our cars, and I can't talk enough great things about them. The Veterans for Life Foundation, Jamie Perkins, and all that they're doing with us as well. Cruising Classics, they've been with us for such a long time. Big shout out to them. It is kind of a shame Ryan wasn't here tonight, but Jam Printing and Promotions, gotta love them to death. That's my good people right there. Premier Setups, Podium, what you're doing on V Speed Network is phenomenal. The broadcasts that you put together are such top notch. I love going back and watching them. I know our audience loves to watch them as well. And then the Nazareth 360 network that does our broadcasts on Tuesday and on Wednesday and Thursday nights. But we got a lot of big stuff coming up, Eddie. I've been on the phone all week long with some pretty major sponsors, some pretty major people, and we picked up something last week. It's got some wheels on it and some things, and so we're hoping to get that out there as well. But a lot of really, really, really awesome stuff happening here at Goat Locker Racing, not only here on the track, but in the nonprofit. And I can't wait to continue to make the announcements about what we're doing and how we continue to progress forward. But at the end of the day, yeah, man, this one feels really, really good. Uh, damn proud to get the win for Right Now Roofing, and big relief for me.
Yeah, well, when you put the work in it like y'all have, you put all the effort into it, people want to be a part of it, and I think that's what we're seeing tonight. But tonight, a win here for Patrick Dravitt. Congratulations on the win, and he'll be moving forward into the playoffs. Right Now Roofing, as we move on to the second place, and that's going to be Trevor McManus. We'll get him up into the booth. And Trevor, this Eddie in the booth, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Well, man, I'm doing good, man. That was a fun race. That was, I mean, Patrick was out there on an island, but you guys, you were holding, pretty steady there in third place all race. You went long on that pit strategy, trying to take no tires and just a little bit of fuel. we didn't really get to see that play out. Was that the
No,
plan from the very beginning? Do you think it was going to work well? What was your thoughts on that strategy? Did you feel good about it once you decided to pull the trigger on lap like 32, 33?
I just knew tonight there was no beating him heads up. Like, he I've got a lot of stuff going on. My baby's like kind of on the way right now. I didn't even know if I was gonna make it tonight with how much she's dilated and everything else. So I really didn't get a lot of practice to find out how to get around the track tonight. I was way off pace, and I told my teammate Regis, which bad luck bit him tonight, unfortunately. But I told him, I was like, dude, I think the only way I can do this is a different strategy. Like, I can't play his strategy. He's just too fast. So right off the rip, I just wanted to get to third place and then just kind of like maintain a easy going pace, right? Like, not burn my stuff up. Try to keep heat out of the tires. Try to keep tire tread on there so that I could try that. Um, yeah, I tried it, but Pat was just so darn fast. He took tires and then he passed me before I even got to the pits, and I was just so mad. Once I couldn't even get to my box before he passed me, so I didn't have nothing for him. Congratulations, Pat. Great job tonight.
Yeah, well, after last week, I think you come in with a little bit of extra, but you've got 2 wins on the season, and to come away with a second place is just about keeping momentum going.
Yep.
This a third win, would have given you sort of a de facto points lead, but regardless, I think you're going to be a player all the way down to the final four. I don't know. We'll see with the baby situation, but I mean, so far at this point in the season. And if you were to run every single race from here on out, I definitely think you're a favorite for the championship. So, I mean, it's a good race. I mean, road courses are always kind of hit or miss, depending on, especially in oval leagues, whether or not, how people take to these type of things. But you've always been really good at
Right.
road courses. And, even though you finished 17 seconds behind Pat, second place is still second place. And it's got to
Yeah.
feel pretty good. I mean, what do you think was the difference? I mean, I know you couldn't see what he was doing, but where do you think the difference is? Because I'm in your boat. I'm in your boat of maybe I'll finish fifth, but I'll never be able to run with those guys that are really good at these road courses. What do you think the difference is between us and them?
Uh, I don't want to say it like this, but I think it's just equipment, right? Like, I think maybe possibly they've got. I know that Pat and Jacob and all those guys, they got a way better video card than I got. Which, you think about it, guys out there, fans. I'm kind of talking to you when I say this, and you understand this. Like, our computer is our car, right? Like, we can have all of the skill set, but if we don't have the motor, we don't have the tires, we're just not going to be able to keep up with them. And road courses are really that where you see that come about. Like, ovals, yeah, it matters, but it doesn't really matter as much. And then also, I'm on a 4-year-old belt-driven steering wheel. It's got hundreds of thousands, maybe even 1,000,000 miles on it with all the stuff I've done and everything else, and I've overturned it up, so it's wore out. It's just not as. I mean, I used to run with these guys all the time at road courses. I was better than them at one point, but they've all got direct drive wheels. They've all, they've just got better equipment than me right now, and that's really all it boils down to. So I can hang a little bit, but if I had the better video card and I had the better wheel and I had the better pedals and I just had the equipment to go along with it, then I would pick up those 3-4 tenths of a second. I feel like I needed tonight on a consistent basis that I just couldn't have. He was getting through the bus stop way better than I was. That's where all of the time was coming up, was that second sector from what crew chief was telling me. So that's from the S's down through the horseshoe right there. So that's where he was really killing me, and I just didn't feel confident in myself going through the bus stop, even really as hard as I was. So if I would have had a better wheel that I could feel what was going on, then yeah, I mean, I feel like I could hang with them.
All right. Well, there you have it. Second place finisher, and Trevor, congratulations. Good luck moving forward with the new baby, and who you got to
Yeah.
thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
I'm just gonna say I hope my baby's born tomorrow, because if he's born tomorrow, I'm not gonna miss a race. We'll be back home.
Don't say that
You know,
don't say that out loud.
hey, I told my wife. She said, "Why do you want him tomorrow so bad?" And I said, "Because I don't want him. I'm doing really good on Tuesday nights, and that's kind of where I'm putting all my eggs in trying to win one of these darn goat luck. I've been doing this for so long. I've never won a championship, and I've been so close. But I feel like this year, this series is my best shot at it. So." Yeah, I hope he's born tomorrow, because if not, then I will not be in Charlotte, and that's another one of my good tracks, because that's when we're scheduled to inducers. I
All
just
right.
want him to come. I want him to come healthy, but thanks to Right Now Roofing, Goat Locker, Cruising Classics, Red Beard Designs, Veterans for Life, you at V Speed, and you, of course, being on track with us on other nights teaches us so much stuff, dude. It's amazing. You're great in your own. Then there you got Podium Friday nights in the Truck Series. Great broadcast. Nazareth 360 they do tomorrow, and Thursday they do a great job on their broadcast also. And Premiere for giving us some badass setups on Friday nights, and some really, really great setups. I got to finally race with a couple of their setups at Bristol, and I was running with guys that are 3 times my I rating, and the, premier setups, dude. Great setups, great place, great shop, wonderful people. And then my personal sponsor, the Artisan Barn. They do a lot of laser engraving, custom hats, all kinds of cool stuff. They're working on a hat for me right now, so that when I'm out here interviewing, I can show off what they got. It's gonna be badass. It's really cool. Can't wait for that. And then, of course, my wife, putting up with me, let me do this while she's, you know, on the verge of popping. She didn't yell up tonight, so that's great. And my all my family, all my friends, my teammates for always sticking by me and trying to keep me cool. I'm a hot-headed person when it comes to the race, and they do their best to keep me cool and calm and collected so that I can get through these races, because without a lot of them, I wouldn't be able to do it. And I'm sorry I'm rambling on, but Goat Locker is just such a great league. We got a bunch of people that make this happen, and can't thank all of them: Pat, Jamie, Jake, you, everybody who helps out putting this league together, and all you fans out there for watching. I see the chat's blowing up. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys, even though you don't root for us. We appreciate you.
Well, all right. Well, there you have it. Trevor McManus comes home in second place. And we'll jump in with our third place finisher, Jacob Ellingson. Jacob, well, you
How's
had
it
a
going?
good race tonight. You came home in third place. You kind of got gifted that third place there at the end, but that's why you stay with it to come away with, a spot like that. You got to stay in it. If you had not put all the work in up to that point, you don't get that spot. And you almost had second place there at the end. We're kind of watching Patrick. He was at another track. I think he was at Sonoma, and y'all were at Watkins Glen. And then I look up, and you're 2 seconds behind Trevor there at the end. So talk a little bit about your race, man. How did it go? And first of all, congratulations on the podium.
Oh, thank you, Eddie. I really appreciate it. But about the race, I mean, I was just trying to hit my marks, hit my braking points, and trying to keep it smooth throughout the entire track. It's definitely tough to do in the Xfinity car. I mean, it was very loose on exit through the S's. The entire race on new tires and old tires. It didn't matter. Got to be really easy. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I have no idea what I'm doing on road courses. I just kind of lucked out.
Well, pull your mic a little bit closer. We're kind of losing a couple of different words. I don't know if it's on your end or mine, but yeah, man. Well, I mean, we're an oval league, And when road courses come about, you really do see a gap, a separation, because a lot of us don't race road courses. I fall into that category where I look at a road course as just a waste of time. A waste of what we could have had a lot of fun racing at Bristol or something, or Darlington or Dover. Instead, we're out there on a road course, racing by ourselves for 40 laps. And but that's part of it. In real life,
Mm.
they race at those tracks, and that's just a part of the skill set. Especially, I mean, it's been like that forever. So I think me and you kind of can fit the same role here of we show up to road courses. The idea is to run pretty good, but not run hard enough that you run off the track. And how hard is it to
Ugh.
you want to push the car harder and harder because you can, but you're so nervous you slide that right rear off just one bad turn and you go spinning, you lose a ton of time. How hard is it to kind of keep yourself kind of pulling the reins back from pushing the car, knowing that you can run a little bit faster?
Oh, it's the discipline is crazy because I did it once in coming out of turn one where I had to do the old 2 foot smash to get her pointing in the right direction again. I mean, but it's you got to be very disciplined on it. And over the past like couple years, I've been getting into a lot more road course stuff. With actual road course cars and like the GT3 stuff. Um, we actually this year we actually won the 24 hour at Daytona. Me, Pat, uh, Jamie, and Cody. We all did the 24 hour at Daytona and won. So that was kind of an inspiration to try to get better at it on the NASCAR side of things. So I have been practicing a little bit, just not as much that I should.
Well, and it's hard. It's hard when you run those GT3 cars because they do everything just perfect. I mean, it's a
Oh God,
beautiful
yeah.
thing. You go down in the corner, the brakes work so much better. The car, it's got the suspension is tuned just right where there's very little body roll. You get on the throttle. Sometimes they even have traction control, but very little wheel spin. A lot of control, shifting gears, all just perfect. And the car is meant to do that. But when you take a car that's not meant to do that, it feels like you're out there in a damn rolling garbage can trying to make laps at a road course. And
Oh
you
God, yeah. It's like
know,
driving a forklift.
yeah, it's like driving a shopping cart, and you're just trying to, you're standing on the end of it. You're just trying to make sure it gets around the track. It's just a wild beast. You're just trying to tame it. So, just a very interesting race, though. I think it put on a pretty good show. Had a big wreck there on the backstretch that kind of messed up some drivers. But I mean, talking about the playoffs moving forward, you with those 2 wins, you've been solid for a while, and talk a little bit about how important it is to get those wins, you know, especially two of them. You're in the playoffs. You're definitely competitive enough to win or to be a championship contender. Getting those wins kind of early, but not really letting your foot off the gas as we come to the playoffs. I mean, what's your mindset moving forward? How you feeling about it? And what are you worried about as you go into the playoffs? Are you worried at all, or do you feel really confident? This is a very long and convoluted question.
Um, Honestly, I'm pretty confident. I just go into every single race and just want to run my race. I mean, I don't want to worry about what anybody else is doing on the track. I just want to run my race. Get my pitch strategy with the team set. Uh, Try to move forward one lap at a time. I'm not worried about. I'm truly not worried about winning. I just want to, finish and finish well. And I think that's where the confidence comes in because I know I can. I know I have the ability to win, but I just want to finish. I just want to be able to top fives and try to work on a win. If the win comes, it comes. If it doesn't, at least I finished in the top five. I think that's where my mindset from last season to this season has changed a lot.
Well, you're doing all the right things, sitting really pretty going into the playoffs. So good luck and congratulations tonight. Who you got to thank?
I definitely got to thank Right Now Roofing, the title sponsor for the Xfinity Series. They're doing great things for Goat Locker, giving away sim rigs with Arrow McLaren, um, Jam Printing and Promotions, Veterans for Life, Cruising Classics, Red Beard Design Company, and got to thank you, Eddie, for putting on an amazing broadcast every single week, and hopefully come in for uh, our rain delay race for Atlanta on our off week and broadcast that one because you always put on a good show. And then some other people I gotta thank. I definitely gotta thank my daughter for letting me do this iRacing thing every single day. She's a big supporter of GLR and what we do around here. Then one additional person who's new, definitely got to thank my girlfriend for allowing me to have the time to do this as well. She puts up with my shit, so got to thank her from now on.
All right. Well, there you have it. Jacob Ellingson takes home your final podium position and takes home the third place. As we're going to wrap it up here tonight. As we went a little long in the interview, but I do like to hear from the drivers, and I like to get their perspectives about the races, about what they're doing. And tonight, no different, man. Woo, what a lot of fun. Want to thank Right Now Roofing for their sponsorship of this series. Want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundation, and guess what? We got it tonight. Cruising Classics. We're going to put them a logo up there tonight. And Premier Setups for their sponsorship of the Truck Series and VSRN this season. I want to thank them. Been impressed with their setups, man. It's been nice. I think we've seen a couple folks running open with Premier Setups, so look for a setup shop. Let's be honest, not a big setup shop guy. I always kind of looked down on them, thought they were kind of not worth the time, but Premier has changed my mind. They have been really impressive. Not everybody needs to have setups. Not even everybody needs to pay for setup. But if you are looking for that little bit of edge, that little bit of, let me try to figure these things out, find a setup that suits me a little bit better, well, check them out. But as always, thank y'all. This is the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series. I'm Eddie Smith here on V-Speed Racing Network. Definitely hit subscribe if you're not. And if you are not subscribed over at V-Speed, the main channel, go check them out too, man. They do work 7 nights a week. Whew. Doing work out here in the V-Speed land. Want to thank Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper for what they do, Pat and Jamie for putting on this series, and all you viewers and watchers out there. We'll see y'all next time, next week. We've got Charlotte, which should be a lot of fun, and we'll see how that one plays out. Maybe get a first-time winner and maybe a surprise in the playoffs, but we will set the field next week. We'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good night. See you later.